Okay, so how should you test Meta Ad Creative in 2025? I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that are directly from the Meta reps. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. Okay, so how does Meta actually decide the value of an ad? There's this formula, and each ad is ranked based on a value score. So this is how they decide what the score is for the ad. It's the amount you bid or the budget times the estimated action rate plus the user value. The estimated action rate is basically whatever objective you've chosen, whether it's traffic or conversion. Then for traffic, it would be click-through rate, and then for conversion, it would be the likelihood that Meta thinks it will convert. That's why creative can have an outsized impact here on the estimated action rate. End of the day, once you set up the funnel correctly, once you've put the appropriate budget to get over the learning phase, even if you're using cost caps, bid caps, whatever you do, the creative is the final lever you can pull, and it can have an outsized impact on the performance. User value is an addition because it doesn't have as much of an impact as these two, but there is still some value to that because Facebook wants to keep the content relevant. And so in case you're running something that's not with their policy, or people can't actually check out, or it's a scam, like this will impact your value score. Creative diversity, this has been a hot topic all of last year, 2024. Just a refresher, like it's not only format diversification with a video static carousel, the catalog, but also concept diversification, which I think is more important. So how do you diversify concepts? You can just think of the different motivations. So I'll just go through this real quickly. For example, this one clearly just about an offer, 20% off, going after one type of user. This is with the creator, so there's more social proof and trust. And then this is for before and after. So it's the same product, but just different motivations. And then essentially the idea of this is you run it broad in ASC, it's going to go after different buckets of users in that broad audience. Creative fatigue, that's the other thing I find now in 2025. The ads are getting fatigued way faster than before. So there's just some stats that the Meta reps shared that on average there's a 40% drop in click-through rate the longer an ad is being exposed, or you've seen it 8 to 10 times, which makes sense. The frequency is high there. Similar drop in conversion rates. So I think now in 2025, you just have to iterate and release creatives way faster. Like last year, I still remember you could run ads for 4, 5, 6 months at a time, but it just doesn't seem the case right now, where you constantly need to have updated creative. So this is where I wanted to spend some more time, where Meta calls the creative testing their sandbox environment. So BAU is business as usual. So basically what Meta says is you should always have a separate testing campaign. That way you can build history for new challenger ads, and then once you find a winner, you can move it into your BAU or business as usual campaign. This is especially true, I think, if you're using ASC or advantage shopping as your business as usual, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll find just 1 or 2 ads getting most of the spend and scaling in the ASC, and then anytime you add new ads into it, it just doesn't get any spend. So a lot of times if it doesn't get spend, it doesn't mean that maybe it's not a good ad, but it just doesn't have a fair chance in the way the ASC campaigns are set up. So it is a good idea to have a testing campaign and then, get some historical learnings and then move them. A lot of times once you move the ad into the BAU, it still may not get spent, but that's fine. The testing campaign can also become a scaling campaign if the ads still work. It just depends on the budget, but you can have multiple testing campaigns that turn into scaling campaigns, as an example. And then the question is, once you set up a separate testing campaign, do you use ABO, like ad set budgets, or CBO, where you let the system decide? I think this just comes down to the budget. So if you don't have a lot of budget, and in the past for smaller ad accounts, I've been using this option, which is a CBO. You put all the new ads, say 4 or 5, in one ad set, and then you just let Facebook pick the winner, because the algo knows based on like the click-through rate, estimated conversion rates, what's going to perform. A lot of times it's tough to beat the Facebook algo by forcing spend to different creatives. So this way you do save a lot of budget, even though all the ads you upload may not get spend. It's like if some of those ads got spent, they probably wouldn't work. So you're technically saving that budget. But yeah, you can get learnings quickly, find a winner, and then either scale the creative testing campaign or move it to BAU. So this is a good option if you're low on budget. And then this ABO, I think, is for people and ad accounts where they have enough of a daily spend. Maybe they're spending 10, 15K a day. They put aside 5K a day for creative testing. And that way, if they have 5 different ads, they'll create 5 different ad sets. I've done this in the past too. It's just a bit more time consuming and you need more budget to kind of test winners. And then after you find a couple of winners, you can move it into your main scaling campaign. You also need enough creative volume to do this kind of testing. I find a lot of the smaller brands don't have that many creative or concepts to test every week or two, so you can probably just use a CBO style campaign. This is just like Meta's classic creative best practices. I won't read everything else, but if you want to just take a screenshot and look at branding, attention, story, mobile optimization, diversification, and using partnership ads. That's it. Thank you.